Hello, welcome to Patrice for Pilates. This session is going to be all about technique. So it's for those of you that want to improve your Pilates technique to get the most out of your exercise, and also for those of you that are completely new to Pilates and don't really understand how to do it to get the best from it. So let's start. So we're going to start on our backs. So come over, make sure you've got your mat underneath you, and we're going to start with the half roll back to get us onto the floor. So feet hip distance, really push down into those feet and curve the pelvis here. So we're curving over our sit bones. So we roll off our sit bones. So if you come up tall to start with, you get the feeling of what we're doing. So you're tall, nice long spine, and then we dip back by moving the pubic bone up towards your face. So dipping and rolling through the pelvis. So get that feeling first of all of coming up onto your sit bones nice and tall, and then you're drawing that tummy in and you roll over the pelvis. So this is just a basic movement. We do this when we're on the floor as well. It's often called imprint, but this is the motion. So it's curving the pelvis, rolling over the pelvis, bringing the pubic bone up towards you. So just get that feeling. Just do a few of these and you can hold on. Just get the feeling up onto the sit bones, nice and long spine, and curve down. So as you curve down, you pull that belly button towards the spine. So up we come, and down we go. So rocking over the pelvis there, over and up. And now we're going to go down to the floor. So we're going to go really slowly. So that pelvic tilt, so we're C curving down. Hold on to start with if you're new. Hold on and go slowly, slowly, slowly. Draw the tummy in really deeply to get us to the floor. Okay, now you're on the floor. Bring your feet a bit closer to your bottom. And a good way to measure that is just to see if you can graze the heels with your fingertips. That's about right. And make sure you're nice and square on your mat. And then we'll just do pelvic tilts, the same process as we did earlier. So we're pushing our back into the floor. Now this is called imprint. So back flat into the floor and back to a neutral spine, which is the little gap, this mouse tunnel under your back. And back we go. So imprint is the flat back into the floor, and just let your shoulders relax, shoulders away from ears. Let the shoulders go deeply into the floor. Maybe curl the palms upwards so you're not pushing in the shoulders, and just rock across that pelvis. So we're rocking, pubic bone up towards the sky, flat back into the floor and down. Now another way to get used to this movement is to think you've got a marble that's rolling between your pubic bone and into your belly button. So we're rolling it towards the belly button and then away. And then to get the rest of the movement, we do something called a Pilates clock. So we're going to tilt the pelvis. We're going to have a visualization. So close your eyes, have a visualization of a marble going from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So we'll go together. So we'll rock that pelvis, so the ball is going towards the belly button. Then we rock it back down to the pubic bone. So that's your 12 o'clock to your 6 o'clock. So we're just doing that straight motion that we did before. So we're doing 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And your 6 o'clock is your imprint into the floor. 12 o'clock to 6 o'clock. And then we go to 3 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So just a slight lift one way, back to centre, lift the other way, back to centre. These are really tiny moves. So your pelvis is staying flat on the floor, but you're using your abdominal muscles to get this movement. So draw those side obliques together as you rock from side to side, tiny, tiny movements. And then we'll try and go round the clock. So you're in your 12 o'clock position, then you go to 3 o'clock, then you go to 6 o'clock, which is your flat back, then you go to 9 o'clock, then 12 o'clock. And just do those really slowly, slowly, slowly. And then you find a smooth circle as all of your abdominal muscles are working to improve your stability and strength in that area. The corsets working really hard. Now we're going to rotate and go the other way. So this time it's your 12 o'clock to your 9 o'clock to your 6 o'clock to your 3 o'clock. I have to say it's really difficult doing this really well and talking at the same time. So hopefully you're feeling this yourself. Just breathe through, breathe wide into the ribs. And then we come back to centre. And on the last one, I want you to imprint your back again. So going towards your 6 o'clock. And we're going to hold there. Just hold and breathe. Just get that feeling of breath wide into the ribs. This is the Pilates breath. It goes in through the nose and out through the mouth in a tiny straw. So in through the nose and out through the mouth. Now let your back go till you're in that imprint position, in the neutral position, so the little mouse tunnel under the back here. And from here, we're going to do leg slides. So you're in your neutral spine, you've got the little gap, and the tummy's pulled in, and you draw up the pelvic floor. So that drawing up motion as if you're stopping yourself in mid-flow. So draw up the pelvic floor, and then slide the right leg away, taking the heel along the floor really slowly. But that tummy's pulled in, the shoulders and arms are still relaxed. You push your heel away, flex the foot towards you, and draw that leg back really slowly here. Slowly, slowly, slowly back and put the foot down and do the opposite leg. Now these are really slow and with control, and one of the principles of Pilates is control. In fact, it was called contrology at one point. But the control is really important because we can all move our legs up and down like this, but without the control and drawing that tummy in and the breath wide into the ribs, you're not getting the work in those lower abdominals as you push the foot away and then back to centre. So really slowly. We're still in our neutral spine, so the neutral spine is the pubic bone is level with the hips. We're not tilted in any way, and we're drawing those deep abdominals in as we move the leg away. So if you're feeling this now, you should be feeling this in the lower abdominals as you breathe in there and move wide into the ribs. So the next one is take it from the same position, come back to your knees facing up towards the sky. And then we're just going to open the right leg slightly to the side like a 45 degree and then back to centre, again with real slow control. And then the left leg. So the left leg comes out to 45 degree. You don't go any further because otherwise you rock off your pelvis. So we're keeping that pelvis in neutral position. So leg open out and push the opposite foot into the floor. Make that work really hard so that your leg that's supporting you is really strong and stable. So that helps control the pelvis along with the abdominal muscles. That's it, you've got it. So open out to the side, and then you might find you can go a little bit further, but don't go too far that you rock off that pelvis. So these are just opening the legs. So this is getting that feeling of the abdominals working to support the movement, keeping that pelvis nice and strong. And this is what you need to then do the harder exercises in Pilates. But it's understanding that control in the pelvis area here, that core stability. And then we come back to centre. And from here we go into our bridge. So we've done the clocks, so we know the principles. We go into imprint, we're drawing the pubic bone up to the sky. Now we lift off vertebrae by vertebrae really slowly, just to the tips of the shoulders. Our glutes are working, they're pushing us into a nice ski slope position, not too high. And breathe at the top, and then breathe out as you come down. And as you breathe out, going through the straw, and then the belly bends the back. Think about that all the time, the belly bends the back. So tummy button to spine, that deep flexion helps to bend the back, and you come back to your neutral spine. So keep that going in your own breath pattern, just do a few of these, and I'll just keep talking you through the principles here. So as you come up, come to the tips of the shoulders, breathe at the top and breathe out as you go back down, and try to bend that back by letting the gluteal muscles go. Let them go, let them soften, but make sure the tummy button's really pushing towards the spine, as well as those lower abdominal muscles. And a couple more. This is all mobilization of the spine. We're really slow here as we lift up off the floor and draw the belly in at the top. The glutes are working strong, And then we let the glutes soften as the tummy pulls inwards to bend our backs, vertebrae by vertebrae. So if you get a sticky part of your back, particularly if you're new to Pilates, you might want to bring your feet slightly closer to your bottom. And then when you come up into your bridge, and in your bridge we lift one foot up and then the other foot up, so you're on your tiptoes. So you're much higher up off the floor, and then it gives you more space to come down through each vertebrae. So again, drawing your tummy in really tightly, draw it in, draw it in, draw it in, rolling down, vertebrae by vertebrae, and down we come, and put the feet back down. So hopefully you'll have felt the difference there. You've got more space to get that lumbar region, which is often the sticky bit for most people, down slowly into the floor. So now give yourself a little rock out. So rock out the back from side to side. And then we're just going to go and do a little bit of rotation work. So taking the feet back onto the floor. So feet are together, make sure they're nicely aligned, and then squeeze the knees together for me. Squeeze the inner thighs deeply. Make sure you're in a neutral spine, so maybe go into that imprint, feel the back flat, and then feel it come back to its neutral position. And this time we take our arms out into a nice wide T. And we'll go over to the right first of all. Really soften the shoulders though, make sure you've got a nice long neck by just taking that chin gently inwards to lengthen the back of the neck. And if you can, try to keep your shoulder blades back and down onto the floor. And we literally go over to the side and we hover. So we're coming over to a 45-degree angle. We squeeze the knees tightly, squeeze everything together here. It's all stacked. We're squeezing everything tightly together, and we're drawing these side oblique muscles in by drawing the belly button to the spine to protect your back. And then it also gives you length down the back so that you don't get an archy back, and you push the side hip away to get length down the side body too. And you can look over the opposite arm if you want, but squeeze the legs, squeeze, 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 and then we rock back over the pelvis, coming the other way, stack the feet, look down the arm, draw the tummy in deeply, draw everything in, and squeeze, squeeze, squeeze the knees, look down the opposite arm, everything's working really hard here, and back to centre. I'm going to do a couple more of those. Squeeze the legs together, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Look the other way. It's a great feeling if you draw that tummy in. You do get a really deep stretch down those side abdominals. And over we go. This is our last one. And squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And try to lengthen that back as well onto the floor by the shoulders. And back to centre. And the exercise we're going to finish with, which is a really good one to get right in Pilates principles, is leg circles. They're so simple, but if you do them the wrong way, you don't get the work. So I'll just move myself up my mat because I haven't got so much space here with all this greenery. So from here, what I'd like you to do is take your legs long to start with, and just point and flex your feet, just get a little bit of work in those muscles. And then if you are a true beginner, I would like you to bend your leg. The left one is fine, and have a support leg with a bent leg. If you've done Pilates before, you can have a long leg, but that leg has to be strong into the floor, flexed foot really working to support this pelvis, to stop it rocking. So the belly button is pulled towards the spine. You've got that little gap under your back because you've got your neutral spine. We're not in imprint here. And we take the right leg up, so keep that left leg long into the floor or foot into the floor. And then we gently draw the right leg up to a 45-degree angle. Now I'm pointing my toe, I'm drawing my tummy in, but then I'm going to rotate that leg in the hip socket. So rotating out, so the leg is pointing out to an angle here. And then I'm going to come across the body and circle across the body and round. So these aren't very big. You don't need them very big, but you need that rotation in the hip socket to actually get the work up into the inner thigh area. And it's as if you're stirring your hip, so you're using your femur, your thigh bone, to stir the hip. And coming across the body is more important than going away, because that's where the work is. You can feel that in the adductors in the inner groin area, and it runs down the inner thigh, and you get a nice, strong, long leg here. So try to keep length in the leg. Try not to bend the leg if you can. And for a lot of people, having a long limb is really difficult. So these exercises really help to get that length in the leg. And then back the other way, so coming across the body again. Don't worry about going out to the side. Most people can go out, but across the body is often a bit harder. Keep that tummy pulled in, keep the other leg active. And we're doing 6 one way, 6 the other. So this leg will be feeling nicely worked as well. So, you're getting nice length around those muscles. And then one more, and then we swap legs. And as we swap our legs, we draw that leg in. Give yourself a nice stretch here, draw the leg right down towards your breast. And maybe just give your foot a little bit of a circle here, one way then the other way, which feels quite nice. And then we change legs. So we go on to the other side. So gently move the other leg in and swap legs. Again, having the knee up to the ceiling, if that's what you did for the first one, or along the floor. Make sure your back is in a neutral position. Draw your tummy in. Soften the arms and the shoulders. Try not to hold pressure and tension up here. Then take that leg long, that 45 degree, 45 degree angle, that's correct. But then we do the rotation. So rotation comes from the hip socket in here and then across the body. So we do 6 one way, 6 the other. Draw the tummy in. Make sure this time your right leg is active. If you're doing your left leg with me. So right leg is nice and strong. We do 6 one way, 6 the other, and draw that tummy in at all times. That's helping your pelvis stay in a nice neutral position. Keep that going. And then we go the other way. So again, across the body, long limbs. Remember breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth as if you're blowing through a straw. Nice and wide into the ribs, because your tummy has to stay engaged to keep that pelvis in a good neutral position. And then finish, and we draw that leg in slowly. Give yourself a stretch. That should feel nice in that little circle of the ankle, one way and the other way. And then we'll do just last rock and roll up to sit in. And I'll do some more of these with some other techniques for beginners or those who want to improve for some of the other core Pilates exercises. So I look forward to seeing you again. Please hit the subscribe button. Thanks for joining me. Bye.